Shastra, and I would like to read from Affectionate Guidance this morning, because it has been...
Sorry. Okay, now I can say go over.
Sorry, what's that? Okay. So we want to read this morning from Affectionate Guidance. It has been quite some time since we have gone back to it. We are on chapter 18. This is section 3, our devotional line. Chapter 18, Message to Massage the Devotees' Hearts. Message to massage the devotees' hearts. Devotee, please give some words to the devotees around the world about remembering Koladweep, Navadweep, and Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. Srila Govinda Maharaj. Srila Guru Maharaj organized the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat for conditioned souls like ourselves. Otherwise, it was not necessary to organize a mat. Also, he did not want to make a mission. That is, he came with his deity, Giridhari, Giriraj Govardhan, and he himself worshipped him with tulasi and water. The mission itself came, and I think by mission, Gurudev means like something bigger, that has a wider scope of work. Because Srila Sridhar Maharaj's idea in the beginning was to just start a very simple, small place, which he did, and that he wouldn't actively go out and canvass persons, but those who would naturally come, he would accept them. That was like the compromise that he made with Nityananda Prabhu. Because initially he didn't want to take any disciples, he wanted to stay completely alone. He was hiding from his disciples, from his godbrothers, sorry. He was actually hiding from his godbrothers. But by the pressure of Nityananda Prabhu, he accepted that at least he would take disciples. But it wasn't his idea in the beginning to make a wide mission, as did happen through the service and desire of our Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj. The mission itself came as a blessing for us. And now Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat is a very wide mission. The definition of missionary work is that it is always doing good for others. We know that the only good thing is to practice Krishna consciousness. In this mundane world, that is the only light of life, the only elixir of life. All the godbrothers and followers must be benefited if we can give proper honor to our mission and our missionary work. My friends, godbrothers, and followers are trying heart and soul, and I believe they will certainly get the mercy of Sriman Nityananda Prabhu and Mahaprabhu. Many of them are very exalted devotees in our sampradaya. I am always praising them, and it is necessary to give nourishment to the other devotees also. There are classifications of devotees, first class, second class, and general class. But all are worshipable, and when we can see it, we ourselves will be benefited. They are all connected with Mahaprabhu and Krishna consciousness. Therefore, if anyone will come in this line, we shall give good nourishment to them. A heart massage, a message to massage. Always the devotees are asking questions. That is, they need to know something. And I believe wholeheartedly that the devotees want to hear news of the devotees and activities from this mat. Sometimes when I am alone, I try to consider why I cannot sleep at night and what it is that Srila Guru Maharaj requires of me. I do not want any sort of position, but the chair of Acharya has come to me, and I must serve that chair. It was for this that Srila Guru Maharaj protected me from a young age and cultivated me in my mind, and I must offer all the fruits to his lotus feet. Otherwise my life is useless. This is my feeling, and this is also the answer to why I am doing this. With what I have, I can continue very happily. And in one sense, it is not necessary to think of many things. For example, world preaching, especially in this age, is very difficult, and I know it. But I also know that my Srila Guru Maharaj needs it. It is seva to him. There is no doubt that everybody shall die one day. So if we give too much attention for our health, it is not good for us. Actually, we must give our attention for the service of Guru Gauranga. And if we leave this body through that service, it is very good. In fact, there is no higher good than that. In this regard, we shall not forget the words of Sripad Saranga Goswami Maharaj, when he told Sripad Hridoy Ban Maharaj, I want to die in harness. Today is actually the disappearance day of Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj. Very dear godbrother of Srila Sridhar Maharaj. Sripad Ban Maharaj was a friend of Goswami Maharaj, and he suggested to Goswami Maharaj, "Oh Goswami, you have spent your whole life preaching. Now you are old, so come and do some bhajan." Sripad Goswami Maharaj was very angry and thought, what I am doing is not bhajan? What are you thinking? This is my bhajan. Because this word bhajan, there's this idea that people have. It means like doing quiet, like reading and chanting and like that. But actually bhajan, it means service, or worship. That's really actually what the word means. Somehow it's taken on that connotation. So Goswami Maharaj, Goswami Maharaj was a very active and powerful preacher. He was the one, when Srila Sridhar Maharaj declined to go to London, to preach in London, he suggested Goswami Maharaj instead. And so it was Goswami Maharaj who went instead of Srila Saraswati Thakur accepted that proposal and sent Goswami Maharaj instead to London. And he preached all over India. He developed a powerful mission. And he was one of the principal supporters of Srila Sridhar Maharaj. I mean, in the sense that he actively supported. Like when Srila Sridhar Maharaj had some debt because of some trouble that came, then it was Goswami Maharaj was one of the persons who would physically go out himself and collect money for him. Like to that level. So he was one of the most, affectionate and supportive of all of Srila Sridhar Maharaj's godbrothers. And he had, this very strong preaching spirit. But Gurudev, he mentioned one very interesting point about Goswami Maharaj, that there's actually, Goswami Maharaj is probably the godbrother who we've heard the most about, other than Srila Swami Maharaj Prabhupada. There's so many stories about Goswami Maharaj. But one interesting point about Goswami Maharaj that Gurudev mentioned is that he was this very strong preacher, very focused on preaching. But at the end of his days, I think it was for a few months, or maybe it was a year, but for some period of time, in his very last, phase in this world, he completely withdrew. And he stayed in a very secluded way. And it was And Gurudev, he noted it because it showed like, it wasn't like that was his ego, that he was going out as this big preacher. Because we see that sometimes, we can see a practitioner who's very proficient in some particular seva, but it may or may not purely be an expression of devotion. It may be more an expression of their ego. And they can be quite attached to that because it's more coming from their ego than a mood of deep surrender. So, they have this nature to do this or to do that, and then if they need to change that because of another like service necessity, then it may be very difficult for them because it's really an expression of their own, conditioned nature rather than really coming from a deep place of surrender. Whereas if it's coming from a deep place of surrender, then there's this flexibility. That you can just change like that, that you're going out in this very like prominent way, but if the service necessity changed, then I can stay in the background and, do something completely different. Washing the dishes or managing or doing puja, it's all the same, in one sense. Whatever is necessary for service. Or being on the front line or being on the sidelines, whatever, this is the mood of the suicide squad. Srila Sridhar Maharaj calls what is called the Kama Rupa serving group in Vrindavan. They're ready to play whatever part, in the navy, in the land, in the air force, like they can just switch. So this is an interesting point about Goswami Maharaj, because someone may think that about him. Like that's just his nature, like to be, very, strong and very prominent and very like loud in a sense and very active, and so someone may think of him like, that's just like who he is, But it was actually an expression of surrender, and then he was able to completely, without any ego at all, at the end of his life, he was able to completely withdraw from that, and enter another space. Which is, quite an interesting meditation. So anyhow, this one godbrother, Ban Maharaj, saying, like now you're getting older, do some quiet bhajan. And Goswami Maharaj was not happy. Shripad Goswami Maharaj was very angry and thought, what I am doing is not bhajan? What are you thinking? This is my bhajan. I'm not going to go and sit quietly, when all this preaching necessity is here. That would be a luxury. This is my bhajan. I am serving Krishna, serving Mahaprabhu, and serving my Guru. This preaching is my bhajan. But you think that to chant on beads in the jungle is bhajan. And this is a significant comment, because this was something that Srila Saraswati Thakur kind of like railed against, that mentality of nirjan bhajan, just doing solitary bhajan when you're not actually, qualified for that. Though he thought this, and this is something I always noted, he didn't say it. This is Vaishnava behavior. He was thinking all this in his head, but he didn't say it. He was polite, he was respectful. Whereas in ordinary transactions, then the person would respond with what they're thinking, and then there would be an argument, and everything goes downhill from there. It turns into an insult, throwing mud pie type situation. Though he thought this, Shripad Goswami Maharaj simply replied in summary to Shripad Ban Maharaj, I want to die in harness. You understand that expression?
I have some understanding.
I mean, I think it means like on the battlefield, you're like on your horse, like strapped in your horse. And like in the middle of the battle, like that. In the middle of riding your horse, like that's the point, that you're active. Srila Guru Maharaj quoted this expression many times to me, and Gurudev also quoted it many times. Srila Guru Maharaj quoted this expression many times to me and instructed me never to forget it. I want to die in harness. Even the very last moment of our lifetime, we shall not spend for any other purpose. We want to offer even that to our Gurudev. I am very happy to remember that. And whenever I am in very much difficulty, I think that Krishna wants to take my blood. And he will not spare even the last drop of blood. And if it is his wish, he will take it. Actually, I am very renounced by nature, and sometimes it would come in my mind that I shall leave everything. But suddenly I would be reminded that Srila Guru Maharaj does not want me to do that. Seeing my renounced nature, Srila Guru Maharaj was very fearful. Until I finally took sannyas, Srila Guru Maharaj did not make his final will and testament. Because he was afraid, that he only wanted Gurudev to take that position of the Acharya and nobody else. Until I finally took sannyas, Srila Guru Maharaj did not make his final will and testament. A few days ago I read an earlier will. Perhaps he was very sick at that time. Anyhow, Srila Guru Maharaj added in his own handwriting that now his health was very bad and he may die. He wrote that if Govinda Maharaj will take sannyas, he must be the Acharya here. And wrote that if he should pass away before Govinda Maharaj takes sannyas, everyone will wait 5 years for him to take the renounced order of life. He will then take the Acharya's position. But in the meantime, none else will take that position of Acharya of Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Math. Only if Govinda Maharaj does not take sannyas within that 5 years will another be selected as Acharya. This was his instruction. And remembering how very eager Srila Guru Maharaj was for me to take this service, if I shall not to do this service, then I must go to hell. This was his instruction, and remembering how very eager Srila Guru Maharaj was for me to take this service. If I shall not do this service, then I must go to hell. Therefore, I cannot leave the seva of Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Math. Until my death, I cannot leave the service of his deities, devotees, and Math. In this way, I am continuing. And now devotees are coming and inviting me all over the world. I know there is so much difficulty to go there, but for the service to Srila Guru Maharaj, I must accept their invitations. I still have life in my body, so until death I shall try in this line of service. Wow. Very powerful. Very short chapter, but very powerful. I'm going to continue to chapter 19. This is like also continuing the theme. Harmony is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's conception. My mood in spiritual life has grown from its very conception by the grace of Srila Guru Maharaj. There is no doubt that I and many others, having been born in Bengal, have gained have earlier gained some inspiration about Vaishnavism. It is natural for all Bengali Vaishnavas to worship Mahaprabhu. In every Vaishnav's house is Mahaprabhu's deity or some arrangement for his worship. If they do not continuously offer him worship, at least sometimes they do so at specific festival times. They offer worship in the name of Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Dev, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Prabhu, etc. What I knew about Vaishnavism from earlier days has some worth, but really I have got my birth in Mahaprabhu's conception only when joining at the lotus feet of Srila Guru Maharaj. I can say I gained my real birth in Vaishnavism when I fortunately came to the lotus feet of Srila Guru Maharaj. From him we received the seed, a real Jaiva Dharma, real Vaishnav Dharma. Srila Guru Maharaj tried to make his disciples into perfect preachers in the line of devotion, as preached by Mahaprabhu and Prabhupada Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Prabhupada Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used many methods for his preaching. We know that his main preaching instrument was through the printing of patrikas, periodicals, and books. He started his first preaching by printing books and preaching. And by the end of his manifest pastimes here, we have seen that the Gaudiya gave the guideline for the whole of the Sampradaya. The Gaudiya was one of his main publications. Srila Prabhupada himself gave guidance as to the content of Gaudiya. Therefore, everyone respected Gaudiya at that time. Perhaps Srila Prabhupada did not see everything before it was printed, but he gave his guidance on most of the contents. Actually, our mission is becoming so big now internationally. We have many centers around the world in a variety of countries. They are all waiting and need some guidance from Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. Our main guidance is very simple. Mahaprabhu said, Trinada pi sunichena, taroriva sahishnuna, amanina manadena, kirtaniya sadahadi. One who knows themselves more insignificant than a blade of grass, who is as forbearing as a tree, and who gives due honor to others without desiring it for themselves, is qualified to sing the glories of Lord Hari constantly. This is the guideline to always chant Hare Krishna without offense. But in which way will it be possible? Many varieties of circumstances come, and many varieties of difficulties come. In each country there are many different types of difficulties, but although the local circumstances may vary, the essence of the solution is given in this verse of Mahaprabhu. Question: what would you like to see as being common in each of our centers worldwide? Srila Govinda Maharaj: actually there are two kinds of vision everywhere. One is the external form and one is the internal substance. Both the show and the substance are necessary in this mundane world. Otherwise, we cannot attract the general people. They are living in the mundane world. Therefore, to attract them, it is necessary to make a good, attractive cover. In the Goswami's books, everything is apparently simple, but inside that, everything given there is rich. Our own Mat's Sri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu externally is a big book looking like a dictionary. But internally, our Sri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is greatly rich with knowledge, with the explanations of Srila Guru Maharaj. Similarly, all our centers need to have an external form and an internal form. Anyhow, we will harmonize. Harmony. Harmony is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's conception. When he went to South India to preach, he visited every type of temple, such as those of Ganesh, Kali, Shiva, Durga, etc. Why did he visit all types of temples? He did so in order that he could reach the people to present to them the ultimate goal of life. The conception of the Ramanuja Sampradaya is that they will never go to a Shiva temple. They have a saying that if a tiger will come to kill you, you may go to the mouth of the tiger, but not to a Shiva temple, even if you will get safety there. They have such a type of conception. However, Mahaprabhu was not like that. He went to every temple he came across along his path of preaching. But everywhere Mahaprabhu went, he only preached the Krishna conception. He gave Krishna consciousness to all, and everyone took to Mahaprabhu's religion. He went to Ganesh temples, and the worshippers of Ganesh took to Mahaprabhu's religion. And we were just a few weeks ago reading this section of Chaitanya Charitamrita. In that way, he preached everywhere. He converted the Buddhists. He converted Ram Bhaktas. Ganesh Bhaktas. Shiva Bhaktas. Our intention will be like that. We do not hate others. If we will hate, then they will go out. Therefore, we must follow Mahaprabhu's conception of not hating any religion, but giving them Krishna consciousness. So we must always make harmony with others. Otherwise, this type of preaching is not possible. In which way shall we be able to harmonize everything? That policy or theory is very nicely decorated in Sri Brahma Samhita. There you will see very nicely harmonized the position of Mother Durga, Ganesh, Nrsimhadev, and of other forms of Krishna, Narayan, etc. Everyone's position is nicely harmonized there. The way in which they will be connected within our society is all very nicely explained in Sri Brahma Samhita. The conception of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can also be understood through Sri Krishna Karnamrita. This book explains the supreme goal in life, and the final conclusion for the jiva soul is also found there. Mahaprabhu did not compose such books, but he brought Sri Brahma Samhita and Sri Krishna Karnamrita, and he ordered Srila Sanatana Goswami and Srila Rupa Goswami to take charge. Mahaprabhu distributed to us the highest conclusions of his conception through Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Sanatana Goswami. At that time, Sri Ramananda Rai was his friend and sometimes acted as if his advisor. But Mahaprabhu did not give the charge of his sampradaya to Sri Ramananda Rai or Sri Swarup Damodar. He gave the charge for his society, sampradaya or school, to Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Sanatana Goswami, and under them Srila Raghunath Das Goswami and all others. That is, Mahaprabhu gave Sri Rup Sanatan his full mercy in this regard. By Mahaprabhu's instruction, Swarup Damodar prepared Raghunath Das Goswami. Finally, Raghunath Goswami went to Srila Rupa Goswami and saw, here Mahaprabhu is present. It is a proven fact that Srila Raghunath Das Goswami's character was that he did not want anything without the mercy and grace of Mahaprabhu. After Mahaprabhu passed away, in separation from him, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami resolved to leave his body by committing a type of suicide. Normally suicide, it's considered very serious sin, in the Vedas, and according to scripture. However, there are like particular, how do you say, extenuating circumstances when it is considered acceptable, and there's like what's called ritual suicide. There's particular ways by which one can commit suicide, which would be considered, acceptable and wouldn't incur the heavy reaction that suicide would normally incur. Mahaprabhu had given him a Govardhan Shila, a stone from Govardhan Hill. Consequently, he wanted to see the hill of Govardhan once before passing away. He decided that he would commit suicide by jumping off Govardhan Hill. Naturally, when he went to Govardhan, he would try to meet with Srila Rupa and Srila Sanatana Goswamis. When he met them, he suddenly saw, here Mahaprabhu is present in them. He wanted to leave his body by jumping from Giriraj Govardhan. But when he saw Sri Rupa Sanatan, he again got life and abandoned his former plan. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami said in his shloka, Namasheshtam, and this verse is actually quite an important verse for us. It's kind of forgotten nowadays, but this used to be the verse that would be chanted at the time of initiation. And then, Jai Shishi Guru it's a prayer to Guru expressing what one has received from Shri Guru. And in the mat, this was originally what would be chanted during the initiation ceremony. Then later, I think just because to make it easier for the Westerners, and Gurudev was accepting so many persons, then it would. I think it was probably Paramahamsa Maharaj who changed it to Om Jnana Timirandasya, which is much shorter. But this is the verse of Raghunath Das Goswami. Namasheshtam manumapi shachi putram achasurupam rupam tasyagrajam urupadim matadim goshtavatim radha kundam girivaramaho radhika madhavasham prapto yasya pratita kripaya shri gurum tam namosti. And saying, what have I received from Gurudev? I received the best of the highest name, the Maha Mantra, Mahaprabhu, Sarup Damodar, Rup, Sanatan, Mathura, Vrindavan, Radha Kunj, Govardhan, and the aspiration of service to Shishi Radha, Madhav, Radha Krishna. Prapto yasya pratita kripaya shri gurum tam nato. I've got everything. By the mercy of Guru, I've got everything. Then everything we will get from the books of the Goswamis. The Mana Shiksha of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami is very valuable for us. The Upadeshamrita of Srila Rupa Goswami is also extremely good for us. We published Upadeshamrita before, I can remember. Sri Rupa Sanatan also harmonized, and the supreme example of harmonizing is Mahaprabhu himself. Actually, he harmonized with all types of religion. He gave respect to all religions, and over them all he established the temple of Krishna consciousness. Very nice. He gave respect to all religions, and over them all he established the temple of Krishna consciousness. This is our preaching, strategy. That is his harmonizing or approach, we can say, our mood, our preaching mood. That we're honoring, anyone who has some light of faith, but we are also demonstrating the supreme position of what has been given by our gurus. That is his harmonizing capacity, we can say. Each of our centers worldwide must first themselves practice in the way of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And I think that what I am preaching in this regard is perfect. I am trying to preach the conception of Mahaprabhu in the line of Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Saraswati Thakur. This is my claim, and I have no other intention. If I shall not claim this with my full energy, then I shall be an offender to Srila Guru Maharaj, because Srila Guru Maharaj believed that I am capable. I am trying and everybody knows it. Still, I know there are many difficulties going on in many countries, and it is natural. I feel it, but I am trying to give them harmony in the line of Mahaprabhu. And when they are getting harmony, they are very happy. A few days ago, some devotees from Malaysia came here. A few months earlier, they were feeling a little troubled, but at that time, I could not go to Malaysia. Seeing their situation, I sent Shripad Sagar Maharaj there. And with his association, they were very happy. They then came and told me, Maharaj, we have gained new life with Sagar Maharaj's preaching. Like that, we are trying to harmonize everywhere. But the preaching principle of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very simple. You be humble, be tolerant, and give honor to others, and practice Krishna consciousness in the line of Sri Rup Sanatam. This is the line given to us by Srila Guru Maharaj. We will find that the main thing given there is chanting without offense. The main thing is chanting without offense, along with the 9 kinds of activity of this devotional line, Shravanam, Kirtanam, etc. Our main activity is Shravan and Kirtan. Give your perfect hearing from a good Vaishnav, and then try to preach what you hear from him to others for their benefit and your own benefit. This is the advice of Mahaprabhu. Especially if you were born in India, you can easily fulfill your spiritual requirement here by the grace of Guru Gauranga. And the process is to give fulfillment to others also, to distribute this conception. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam, kalo nastyeva, nastyeva, nastyeva gatir anyata. This is Mahaprabhu's conception. He expressed it very nicely to Prakashananda Saraswati. Prakashananda Saraswati said to Mahaprabhu, "Why are you preaching in this way?" Seeing Mahaprabhu's cloth, he said, "You are a sannyasi of our sampradaya, but you are dancing and chanting with the general people, and thousands of people are following you. Like mad you are doing. Why are you doing this?" Mahaprabhu replied, because Prakashananda, he's in the line of Shankaracharya, so their idea of sannyas is you give up everything and you stay very quietly in a cave somewhere and you study Vedanta and you meditate, like that. So what is this emotional behavior, mixing with the common people and dancing and chanting and showing all this emotion, tears, and so on and so forth. What is this? I cannot understand. I fail to understand. Mahaprabhu replied, "This is the only process in the age of Kali to satisfy our Supreme Lord. That is, the Lord himself in the form of Harinam has appeared in this age of Kali." Mahaprabhu illustrated this in the 2nd shloka of his Shikshashtak prayers. Nam nama kari bahuda nija sarva shaktis tachar pita niyamata smarane na kala. Itajashi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi durdaivam idrisham ihajani nanuraga. O Lord, your holy name bestows all good fortune unto the soul. And thus you have extended into the world your many names, Krishna, Govinda, etc. You have offered all your transcendental potency in your holy name. without enjoining any scriptural or philosophical hard and fast rules and regulations concerning time, place, or circumstance to be observed in chanting it. Dear Lord, you have so graciously made your holy name available to ordinary souls. And yet my misfortune, my offensiveness, does not allow love for that gracious name to be born in my heart. But in which way shall we gain attachment, attraction, and love for Harinam? And in which way shall we practice? Mahaprabhu's third shloka shows the answer to us. Trinada pi sunichena, tadoriva sahishnuna, amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. Mahaprabhu's conception and method is very simple, and we are preaching it all over the world in varieties of ways. In different countries, they adopt different methods to preach, but it is all going to one pocket, the practice of Krishna consciousness. Mahaprabhu said to Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas, "Tell everyone about Krishna, serve Krishna, and learn about Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead." In a very simple and clear way, Krishna's position is given in Sri Brahma Samhita. Ishvara Padama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, the embodiment of truth, consciousness, and joy, is Govinda Krishna. He is beginningless, the origin of all that be, and the cause of all causes. We shall try to follow this advice of Mahaprabhu. Tell everyone about Krishna, serve him, and learn about Krishna. My own feeling, given by the grace of my Srila Guru Maharaj, is that this guideline for us will be very good. Okay, that's the end of that chapter. Jai Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Bhakti Suranga Goswami Maharaj Tirobhav Mahamahotsav Ki Jai. Jai Shri Bhakti Nirmala Charja Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Shri Guru Garanga Radha Ki Radhiji Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. We can stop.